No, this is not clickbait. The government are coming after your cash ISAs. Now a lot of you may have seen one of my previous videos where I talked about a lot of the potential rumors surrounding the certain changes that may be coming to the stocks and shares ISA, but I was completely wrong. They're actually focusing on the cash ISAs first. Now, one of the main reasons for this is there are currently £300 billion held in cash ISAs, and it is argued that this could, that savers in these cash ISAs could get better returns if invested in the market. Now, here is what I will agree with them. Yes, you could get better returns if you invest in the market. I personally do not have a cash ISA. I'm all in on stocks and shares ISA because I have a long-term time horizon where I can handle the ups and downs of the market. But a lot of these people that are in cash ISAs are going to be older people that want security and safety, which is why they have chosen for a cash ISA in the first place. Now, a certain subsect of that will be people that don't know about stocks and shares ISAs, like are ill informed. So those are the people that they're trying to target and saying no, stocks and shares ISA is the better way forward, and that I would agree. But there are also a certain percentage of this 300 billion where it is 100% intentional, and they're using this tax wrapper to save their money on tax, whether they're close to a retirement, they have a big, or they just have their emergency fund, in this, so they can get tax-free interest on their emergency fund. So no, this is not all. This is not all people that are just ill-informed about not knowing about the stocks and shares ISA. Because if we go all the way down to the bottom of the article, we see that of the 726 billion held in ISAs, 431 billion is held in stocks and shares ISAs, and the remainder is in cash ISAs. Now this comes from about 14 million of the UK's 22 million ISA holders held cash ISAs alone, and 4.2 million of those 22 million only hold stocks and shares ISAs. Oh, I'm here to say I'm one of those 4.2 million. I don't have a cash ISA. I don't feel a need for them. So personally, although this change will not be affecting me personally, I just think it is the wrong decision and the wrong move to make. Obviously, I think it'd be a lot worse if they were targeting the stocks and shares ISA, but going after the cash ISA is almost affecting the most vulnerable people, because these are the people that don't have so much disposable income where they can afford to risk it in stocks. These are people that just want to get a mild return, just want to keep their money safe. Whether they're pensioners or they're people that have emergency funds that in case they lose their job. These this is the completely wrong idea. Obviously, yes, you could argue that there is too much allocation to stocks and shares ISA. So in that case, we need to inform people about the stocks and shares ISA, and not because there are a lot of misconceptions about how risky it is to invest in the UK, and a large part of that is because the UK stock market has not been doing anything. So the only really way to get an outsized return in the stocks and shares ISA is to invest in the indices or American indices. I'm only positioned in American companies. I like the UK is uninvestable from my point of view. So I can see why because a lot of UK institutions they only off they well they used to only offer you UK stocks, and that is a large percentage of why the stocks and shares ISA never used to be appealing. My parents never had stocks and shares ISAs; they only had pensions. But the reason why stocks and shares ISAs were never really appealing was because of the broader market in the UK and the offerings for the stocks and shares ISA. The way to increase that is not by decreasing the option for cash ISAs. If you just say, oh yeah, no cash ISAs, and just assume that people will automatically move to the stocks and shares ISA, they won't. And a lot of this could be due to be generating tax revenue. They're not going to generate that much tax revenue from it. If we see here that 300 billion is currently held in cash ISAs, if you say, that if we say that of the 300 billion, and we say 20% of the 300 billion, the 300 billion earns 5% interest, so that's 15 billion, and then you say that if that 15 billion that's generated in interest, you get taxed 20%. Not including the higher raters. We're just looking at the basic. They're only getting 3 billion in revenue from this. Now, Labour are arguing, oh no, this is to push people into stocks and shares ISAs to help boost the economy, but directing funds into the blue chip companies, which is what the primarily people will be doing, moving, like the financial institutions will be doing, moving from cash ISAs to stocks ISAs, is they'll just chuck it in the FTSE 100, which won't really, spur growth. It will just push up stock prices, so they can, the people in these, city, these big corporations, these banks, can then just sell their losing positions. That's really why I think they've been pushing for this. They're not thinking about the consumer when they're doing this. So yeah, this is a really bad idea. It doesn't. There are ways to solve the issue. I fully agree that there is an issue about how too much cash is allocated into these, cash ISAs. We've seen that of the 22 million ISA holders in the UK, 14 million, that is a large percent. That's 2/3 of the people don't even hold a stocks and shares ISA. That is an issue. We need to be raising awareness about the power of the stocks and shares ISA. Now, the way to do this is to not change the cash ISA. This is really ironic, because the last time that the cash ISAs were introduced by a Labour government, we see here, scrapping the cash ISA will be the biggest shake-up in the savings market since the product was first introduced by the then Labour Chancellor Gordon Brown. The current Labour government, if they were to do this, would be to go against the whole preface of being Labour. Labour is supposed to be, for people, against these big corporations. But this is going against the old Labour Party. The new Labour Party is just awful. So yes, this is not a good idea. If this actually gets implemented, I assume there will be an outroar. Obviously, they won't just scrap it completely. There will be ways that they will be trying to figure out, whereas they reduce the amount you can put in. There was, one of the people in the meeting was saying, oh yeah, if we just limited it to being able to put in, say, he said, one of the bankers said, if we could top, so the amount of cash that, just make max the amount of cash you can hold into an ISA to £5,000. Now that I think is wrong. If you made it so you can only put in 5,000 a year, that might be alright. But even so, if people wanted to build an emergency fund, that's not a big enough emergency fund, £5,000. So yeah, there's ways to do it, but again, none of these ways, are a good solution. If you because a lot of people may just want to put that 20 grand in, build the emergency fund, and then their next year's 20 grand, they can, start investing. That will be the safe way for most people. If they want to build that emergency fund tax free, some people may not even have their emergency fund tax free. I know another way for people to build their emergency fund is by using the bonds to do it. So the premium bonds, they have 50 grand in premium bonds, and then they use that as their emergency fund, as that's also tax free. But I just think, yes, they could push people down that road, but the interest rate that you get from the premium bonds is a lot lower than the cash ISA. So yeah, it's I don't like the way the Labour government is going with this. Personally, this doesn't affect me that much. I would be a lot more affected if they were to make changes to the stocks and shares ISA. And personally, if they had to make a change between the two, I'd rather them change the cash ISA. But if it was an alright change, but this isn't a good idea. It's not going to spur growth, but just by funneling the money into the stock market, unless those companies actually dilute shareholders and then reinvest that money, which wouldn't be a popular idea. So yeah, I'm not a fan of this fan of this whatsoever. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what your thoughts are on this, potential, this plan to just completely change cash ISAs for the worst. If you guys are also like me and glad that they're not touching the stocks and shares ISA for now, let me preface this by saying for now, because they could very easily make some changes now to the stocks and shares ISA. So, anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share this with anyone who might be interested. Anyway, that's it for me for now, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.